Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are doing a full face of Westman Atelier. I think there's only like 2 products from her that I don't have right now in my collection, but I have all of the big ones, all the ones that you guys want to see. So I've been testing them for months now. I know all of my thoughts and I'm ready to share them with you guys. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and do the YouTubey things like subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it. You guys are zoomed in nice and close, 4K no filters, and everything I use on my face today will be linked in the description box down below for you guys. They are affiliate links though, so if you shop through them, thank you so much. I will have the Westman Atelier website linked as well, but that one is not affiliated, just FYI, if you do shop through it. Not that it matters. Before we get into the makeup application, just quickly a little overview of Westman Atelier as a brand. So Westman Atelier is owned and created by Gucci Westman, who is a world-renowned makeup artist. She's worked on celebrities, done high fashion photo shoots in like Vogue, Runway, all that kind of thing. She's been around for decades and she is an incredible makeup artist and seems like a really just sweet person, to be transparent with you. The philosophy around Westman Atelier is they believe that the products should do more than just color and correct. They should actively improve the skin. Gucci has an uncompromising dedication to creating products that merge high performance pigments, nourishing skincare ingredients, and the safest formulations. The result is an edit that makes it easy for anyone to create distractingly good skin that feels as good as it looks. Sorry. One of the big things about the brand is they say all their ingredients are like thoroughly safe, vetted, and responsibly sourced. So that's a really big thing, especially the responsibly sourced. I certainly appreciate that. Sustainability is a big thing for the brand as well. And they do donate to like a charity each year. So it says they're committed to philanthropy. Every year they partner and create products with charitable organizations that are near to Gucci's heart. And I have attended a webinar with Gucci Westman when she released the new Vital concealer, and she was talking about on that. I actually got my respect for Gucci Westman, I should say, increased tenfold from that webinar, because one, you could see how passionate she is about the products that she creates, about her brand, but I could also just see the integrity that she holds herself to when it comes to creating a product and having a brand out there. And she really talked about how if she can't create a makeup product or a product for her brand that isn't exactly how she wants it to be, then she just doesn't release the product at all. She's like, I don't want to have that product on in my brand. I only want to create something that in my mind is exactly how I want it to be, how I want it to perform. Obviously everyone's going to like products differently, but you know, she has that integrity in terms of her vision and her creation, which is what she should do. She has her brand. It's her brand, right? She also talks about how the brand, she doesn't want to just throw all of these products out there. It's like a smaller curation of products that she stands behind that are like holy grails to her. So she's not just throwing products and new releases out there every other week for money. It's really about the intention behind the product and what she wants to release out there. So I also really enjoyed that and learning that from her in her webinar. Gosh, I can't speak today. The brand itself has been around, I want to say, since late 2017, maybe 2018. I remember I tried her brand when it very first got released. My mom and I went to America together and we went to Violet Grey. And at the time, I think Violet Grey was one of the only actual retailers that stocked the brand in person. And we fell in love with every product. Like, I remember me and my mom bought every single product. And to this day, Westman Atelier is probably my mom's favorite brand, like, or at least one of her top favorite brands. She loves everything, especially the super tinted like compact highlighters. She buys every single shade that they come out with. So I have tried the brand for multiple years now and kind of followed along of the journey of the brand. Let's start off with some lip balm. I like to apply lip balm while I'm doing my makeup. I have 2 shades of the Squeaky Clean lip balms from Westman Atelier. So I have the shade Nana and the shade Popsicle. It came in like a little duo. And the one thing that I love the most about Westman Atelier is that her packaging is so aesthetic. It's so luxurious. It's like hefty. It is a luxurious makeup brand, so the price point is definitely not a cheaper price point. It is a luxury price point, but the packaging and the feel of it and the products and the ingredients in the products, from top to bottom, it just feels like a proper luxury experience. And personally for me, that's what I just love and adore. So I'm going to take Nana and I'm going to see if I can actually get any product out, because I pretty much have finished Nana. As I'm talking through each of these products as well, by the way, I'll have like a little like slideshow pop up with all of the details in terms of like price point, the amount of product you get in it, all that kind of stuff, some claims, and I'm just going to talk from my experience and my personal opinion on the products. Now, what do I think of the Squeaky Clean lip balms? I think these are really, really nice. They talk about how they're supposed to be like non-sticky, juicy, hydrating kind of lip balm or lip gloss, and it definitely feels that way. I really do not feel like this is sticky. I'm not going to get like the sticky lines from the gloss. I also don't really feel like if my hair was to go across my face, it's going to like smear everywhere. I also find this is really beautifully hydrating and a long wearing hydration. I mean, it's a gloss and a gloss/balm, so you're gonna have to reapply it throughout the day, but I do find like the top layer of shine here, it doesn't like instantly wear off like some glosses/balms do. It really stays around for quite a decent amount of time, and then even once that kind of like top shine layer has worn off, the hydration keeps going throughout the day. So I do really, really like this. I like the shade range of it, and I think it's just, again, the packaging is super luxe, and I think if you're in the market for a really hydrating, nourishing, luxury kind of lip balm, this is definitely worth a look in. I actually do think these are really awesome. Now, Gucci at this point doesn't have a primer or a color corrector, so I'm just going to speed through me doing primer and color corrector. So I've just got my Shiseido Synchro Skin Soft Blurring Primer. My neighbor's really loud outside today, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. I'm just going to pop a little bit of green color corrector on and my Natasha Denona color corrector on, and then we will do foundation. We have primer and color corrector on. Let's move on to foundation. Now I have the Vital Skin Complexion stick, and I also picked up a tester of the Complexion drops that she has as well, like a tinted moisturizer. The reason I only picked up a tester of these is because I wanted to try the product so I could give you my thoughts on them, but I didn't want to pay over $100 for this because it's not, I knew it wasn't going to be my kind of a product. Spoiler alert. A tinted moisturizer really just isn't my type of a product in the first place. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the tinted moisturizer first. So I did pick up the shade 1, and the shade 1 was a really great match. I'll have some B-roll of what this looked like on my face, and if you're in my membership, I recently put up a get ready with me. It's where I used the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette, where I actually wore these in that, but I'll have some B-roll as well of what it looked like on the skin. The claims of this product is that it's like a light, breathable, radiant coverage, very, very hydrating, loaded with skincare products. It's supposed to like even skin tone and soothe the skin, and it's like a lightweight oil texture. What this reminds me of very, very, very much is the Kosas tinted face oil. Does anyone remember the Kosas tinted face oil? They have discontinued it now, but that's exactly what this product reminds me of. It has that like slippery oil feel that's slightly powdery. It honestly feels exactly the same as that, and kind of wears the same as that as well. I will say it has a pretty decent amount of coverage to it for a tinted moisturizer, certainly much more than say like the Hourglass tinted moisturizer, which I just find does nothing. It's definitely a light coverage though. It doesn't build up to a medium in my personal opinion. I don't find that this smooths texture. I found personally for me and my sensitive combination skin that it definitely enhanced my texture. Not the worst I've ever had, but definitely not in a way that I was like, oh, I actually think this looks amazing and I want to purchase it. It also felt very slippery on the skin for me, and within, like, even in the get ready with me on my members, when I used this, by the end of that, it was like 30 minutes at that point, my oils, even though I'd already set my face heavily as well, my oils had already started really coming through. So I do think that if you have combination oily skin, stay away from this. You are not going to like it. It's not going to last long on you. But if you have normal dry skin and you love a tinted moisturizer, especially dry skin and more mature skin, you might actually find that you really, really like this, because she does also talk about how that it's like a serum type finish on the skin, and it does feel that way. It very much feels like skincare on the skin, but for me and my like combo skin, it's a bit too much, and it really didn't wear that well just because of how oily I am. Now, in terms of the Vital Skin Complexion Stick, this one is actually my second one of these because I picked up one years and years ago when it first got released. This one's the shade 0.5, and pre-warning, it is too light for me. I absolutely should have got shade 1. I don't know what I was thinking. I had a very much a momentary lapse in judgment, but I can make it work. So this one's 0.5, but if I had my time over, I'd absolutely pick up shade 1. Now this one is advertised as a medium buildable coverage, and that it is calming and even skin tone. It has a radiant natural finish, and she talks about how you can build this up to be like a foundation that covers, like a normal foundation where you use it all over your face, or that you can use it kind of like a spot concealer where you just kind of tap it out in areas that you want to use it. So she does talk about different ways. I've used this like all over my face before, and one of you commented saying like that's not how Gucci says you use it. That's not what it says on the website. Like Gucci herself wouldn't use it all over her face because that's not really her vibe from what I gathered with her webinar, but it does say on the website that you can use this all over your face like a normal foundation, or you can kind of like sheer it out and build it up and spot conceal as you go along. I will say, if you are sensitive to coconut oil, this does have coconut oil in it, but it's the caprylic trillicide coconut oil, so it's not the cocoa kind of coconut oil ingredients. And I say that because I am sensitive to coconut, but usually if it's caprylic trillicide, I'm okay. If it's the cocoa, like more like intense, I guess, concentrated form of coconut oil, that gives me acne. So I find this one doesn't break me out, but if you're super, super sensitive to coconut, just keep that in mind. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, and I do find like less is kind of more. You can get this to be a medium coverage though. I would say if you have dry, normal skin, this is a Sigma F48, by the way. I don't actually have any of Westman Atelier brushes, but I would love to add them to the collection because they look beautiful. I would say if you have mature dry skin, mature normal skin, or just, regardless of your age, normal dry skin, this might be like one of your favorite foundations, especially if you're someone that likes a no makeup look, because you can really like sheer this out to be quite natural, and it really does look very, very skin-like on the skin. If you have combination oily skin, or if you have combination skin, you're just be careful building this up too much in your oily areas, because it is a hydrating kind of foundation and a creamy texture kind of foundation. So the more you build this up in your like oily areas, the more it's gonna tend to look a bit cakey. And I do find on my skin, if I'm not careful, this can look cakey. So I just need to be mindful with where I'm building it up. I find for this one, a sheer layer and then strategic building is gonna be much more effective and more natural and beautiful on the skin than say just doing like a solid medium all over the face. So this is just the one layer. You can tell it's a little bit light for me, but I can make it work. So you can see the natural radiance to it. It's not necessarily pore smoothing really, but it's also not texture enhancing, at least not how the tinted moisturizer is as well. It still actually looks quite nice, and it doesn't really settle in fine lines or anything. But again, if I was to like build it up in this area here, especially around my smile lines and my pore bit here where I'm the oiliest, it would get cakey and probably crease in my lines and stuff. So that's where I like to keep it really sheer out here. And then I just like to strategically build it up in the areas that I kind of want to build it up in. You don't really need to, like, you could skip building this up with the foundation. I'm doing it now just so that you guys can see, but I mean, you could also spot conceal or use like a powder foundation to like build up coverage, especially if you're like combination oily skin and you want something that's really lightweight and sheer on the skin, but you also want to add that coverage. That's when I would actually do this as a very lightweight layer, because it does look very, very natural and skin like. But then I would go in personally with like a powder foundation lightly over the top to add the coverage where I want, or spot conceal. But again, the world's your oyster. This is just like a makeup lover telling you tips and tricks and my thoughts and opinions, you know, not a makeup artist. Gucci's the makeup artist. This also wears quite well throughout the day. I mean, I do have to set my face with it, but that's normal because, again, combination skin, but it really does wear quite well throughout the day. It doesn't, you know, get greasy or, well, sorry, if I'm using the right setting powder, it won't get greasy. And if I've not put too much on in the areas I get oily, it doesn't get greasy. If I build it up too much in those areas, it will get greasy and cakey feeling, and it will be like that heavy feeling where I'm like, oh, I just want this off by the end of the day. But if I keep it sheer like this and just build it up in those like light little areas, it wears really well. And it does a pretty decent job of like 8 to 10 hour wear with the setting powder, depending on what setting powder I use. I'm gonna use obviously the Westman Atelier setting powder today. However, if I was like going to work, I would use like my Chanel loose powder and really press it into my skin, and that is going to make this last all day for me. I'll talk about the wear time of the Westman powder when I get to it. So this is the foundation all built up. It's honestly, it's quite nice. I actually like it a lot more than I did back when I was like even 28. Like, I think now my skin's at a point where it's like, this looks really nice on it. I used to think it was a bit too natural for me. I didn't like a more natural, my skin could take a lot more full coverage kind of foundation back in the day, you know, but now I think this looks really my skin bit better, truly. Let's move on to concealer. I have a full review of this concealer where I did a wear test and everything on my channel. In the review, like where I did the wear test, I used the Sisley color corrector, and then even people got mad at me because that's like a concealer. I use it as a color corrector. I don't feel like it has any coverage, but people did get mad at me. But just so you know, regardless of what color corrector I use, I freaking love these. Spoiler alert, these are the best concealers. Truly, they are so good. So I do have a full review. I'll link that down below if you want to like see the wear test and everything of these. Claims of these is like buildable coverage. You can really get these to be quite a full buildable, full coverage, sorry, on the under eye. They're also very hydrating, they're self-setting, they're long wearing, they're smoothing. They also do not crease. They just, they're perfection, truly. And I'm actually not someone who never not sets my under eyes. Like I always feel like I have to set my under eye, even though I have drier under eyes. I just feel like concealer, it just doesn't go well if I don't set my under eyes. But with these, this is the only concealer I have ever tried where I didn't set it with powder, and it looked exactly the same from morning to night. And you can see that in the wear test in the video, in my review video. So like I said, I've shade L1 and 2. I like to mix them together. That creates my perfect shade. But if you were to say to me, okay, if you could only pick between L1 and L2, which shade would you pick? It would be L1, because L2, you'll see here, is just going to be slightly too deep for me on its own. Whereas L1 I can make work on its own if I needed to. Like I could make this work, but because I have the two, I don't need to. I don't know if that made any sense. The other thing about this concealer is Gucci's designed it so that where you put it is where it blends in. So, you know, some concealers you might pop on and you really need to, like, if you're not careful, they just blend everywhere and they can be quite slippery. Slippery is probably not the right word, but that's what's coming to mind. Whereas with these, wherever you tap them in, that's where the product stays, and it stays concentrated in that spot. And that's actually one of the things that I really liked about this concealer the most, and why it's also a concealer that's like really good for, say, spot concealing. I find sometimes if you spot conceal with concealer, like here for example, when you put it on, it's just gonna blend out everywhere but the spot that you put it on, whereas this one really just stays exactly where you put it and tap it out. Does a pretty decent job. This is my my Kitco MY8 with Denesamurix, and I'm just gonna tap out the concealer. And as I said, I just love this concealer. I think it's honestly actually become my favorite concealer. it's so good. I love, look at it. It's so smoothing. It's just flawless, and it will wear like this all day with or without powder. It is phenomenal, truly. It is a phenomenal concealer. I think any type of skin texture, any under eye, anything like that, it's gonna look really good. I can't say enough good things about this concealer. It's probably my favorite Westman product, which is saying something because I love a lot of Westman's products, but this one, she's really done something. It's just flawless. I absolutely love it. Let's move on to cream contour now. I have the petite version of the Biscuit contour stick, which is this one right here. You can also get this in a larger version, which is actually something that I really like that Westman's recently been doing, is she's been bringing out little petite versions of her cream blushes, her lipsticks, and these, and I think it's an awesome idea. I really do. Now, this one is basically a buildable, seamless, fuss-free, like any experience level can use this, and it's kind of mistake proof, truly. And it also layers really well either under powder or over powder, and she actually has that even specifically on her website where she talks about you can use this under or over powder because of the way the formula is. And it still hosts like a heap of skincare ingredients. She talks about how all of her products have skincare ingredients and that over time they're going to benefit the skin. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. That's not my wheelhouse. I'm just here to tell you how I like it as a makeup product. This is my Sonia G Sheer Buffer. I think you can tell it's such an easy product to blend out. Like, it just taps in. Another product as well, that it taps in exactly where you apply it, which is great because especially with like a cream contour, you don't want it spreading around everywhere. You really want it to just be concentrated to where you've applied it. Definitely one of those kinds of cream products that if you're someone that's nervous about cream products and how to use them, this one is going to be a really nice, like, introductory, easy one for you to use. It's also a product that if you have oily or combination skin, it's also going to wear really nicely because it's like a very soft matte finish, which is what you want, right, for a contour. You don't want something that's like supposed to be a contour to be radiant or anything like that. You really want it to create that shadow effect, which is what it does really well. And it just, because it is that soft matte, it wears really nicely with any skin type, but it's not a drying matte in the sense that if you have that dry normal skin, that it's gonna feel drying or anything like that. It's not. It's also got like a kaolin clay kind of, well, it has kaolin clay in it, I should say. So again, it's going to absorb that excess oil for those combo oily skin types. But reiterating, even if you have dry normal skin, it's not going to feel or look drying on the skin whatsoever. I think you can just tell how easily blended it was. It really truly is one of those products that's like bulletproof. You could put it on the dark, it's going to look pretty nice, like on every single person. Something I do want to say though is the shade range. I think because this is a newer brand and a smaller brand, like the shade range probably needs work for every single product. She has expanded on her shade range over time, and I have no doubt that as she continues to grow and get more money into the brand, she's going to keep extending her shade ranges. So with the cream contour, or yeah, definitely with the cream contour, there's probably not going to be a shade for every single skin tone, especially the deep dark skin tone. So shade range definitely needs work. So I just wanted to add that in here. But in terms of the formulation, it's definitely in like my top cream bronzer contour faves. Let us set our face. Now, I have previously had the pink bubble, so you can see it's like pretty much empty, but you can see the shade here. I've used it a lot in the Vital Skin pressed powders, and then I recently picked up the shade Creme because I wanted to try this shade all over my face. And this one is definitely going to be too dark, or is too dark on my under eyes. Just if you use me for a skin tone reference, this is definitely an all over face powder for me, whereas the pink bubble is an under eye powder for me. Claims of this powder is that it smooths pores, sweeps away shines, you know, sets your makeup, evens tone. They also claim that over time, like with consistent use of this, it helps the skin control excess sebum and refine texture. I don't know, I've got so many powders in my collection, I'm not going to use this every day to find that out, but they do claim that the skincare ingredients in here do have that effect over time. So if anyone has noticed that with the product, please let us know. I'm not so sure. So for the under eyes, even though you absolutely do not have to set this concealer, you do not. Just for giggles, so that you can see what the pink bubble looks like on the under eye, I'm going to set them. So this is MY3 from Danessa and My Kit Co. And let's hope I can get some of this powder out because it's really, really just finished. And she actually says that she doesn't really recommend setting your under eyes with this powder, but because I have really quite dry under eyes, it actually sets them really nicely. So I've only ever used this pink bubble on my under eyes, and I find it just sets in a smoothing way, but also in a way that doesn't like get dry and make my under eyes look like a dry desert crepey mess halfway through the day, if you know what I mean. So I do actually quite like this as an under eye setting powder. So that's the pink bubble on the under eyes, and now I'll take the cream for the rest of my face. This is just an MY15. Okay, so let's talk about this powder for the rest of the face. This is definitely probably not a powder for those of you with combo oily skin, unless you are in a phase of your combination skin where it's not that oily, like maybe winter time, for example, or you really don't mind, say, popping this in your handbag and having to touch up through the day. It's not a powder that I find is going to keep my oils at bay for an excessive amount of time. I probably find maybe like 3 to 4 hours, depending on how hot and oily my skin is on the day, is kind of how long it will keep the oils at bay for, and then I kind of need to like touch up, and I don't really like to touch up throughout the day. So this is kind of a powder that I lean to if my skin is feeling dry, like in the winter time, for example, or say I'm going to dinner and I don't need my makeup to like last that long, if you will. But if I was like going to work for the day, this is not the powder I would reach for. It's not going to keep my makeup wearing well for that long unless I touch up throughout the day. But again, if you have dry normal skin, mature skin in that sense, then you'll probably actually really love this, because it's going to set your makeup in a really nice way whilst not stripping out any hydration or anything like that. If you have dry normal skin, you probably find this is absolutely enough for you for the entire day. So my kind of caveat around this powder is definitely for the combo oily skin peeps, you know what I mean? It does a pretty decent job of smoothing my pores, I will admit. I wouldn't say it's the most smoothing I've ever tried. I definitely think my Chanel loose powder, my La Prairie powder, even the new Makeup by Mario powder is a lot more pore smoothing than this one. However, I think it does a really solid job. It doesn't displease me, especially as someone who really likes my pores smoothed from powder. And I think it's one of those really nice powders in the sense of, again, if you're like a no makeup wearer, or you're just someone that wants as natural of a finish to the skin as possible, this is the kind of powder that's going to give you that effect. So again, I actually really like it. Like, I clearly like it enough that I picked up a second one in a different shade to try, and I can even see myself repurchasing Pink Bubble for the under eyes. It's a lovely powder. Again, that beautiful luxe, like heavy packaging. It's absolutely beautiful in that sense. So it is a powder that I enjoy having in my collection. I'm just saying, if you're looking at this for really setting and forgetting for the entire day, if you have combo up skin, it's not going to be for you. It's still a powder that I really like having in my collection, especially for my under eyes in the shade Pink Bubble, if you're my skin tone. I'm just going to quickly go off camera and do my brows. I know she has a brow pencil. I just didn't pick it up because I have so many brow products, and honestly, brow products kind of bore me, so I just didn't see the need. So I'm going to quickly go do my brows and then we'll come back and keep going. We have brows on. I'm actually going to do eyes now before bronzer and all that kind of stuff. So I have an iPod Trio, but just a caveat, my iPod Trio is like from the 2022, I think, holiday collection that Westman released. So you can't pick this up anymore, but you can still get the formulas just in different shades. I just didn't really like any of the new or the current iPod shades enough for me to like spend 140 Australian dollars on them. I also really love this packaging. So this one right here comes with 3 single little iPods, which again, I love the packaging of these. They like snap together. They're so cute, and then it like, you know, unscrews. So I've got the shade Fate, I've got the shade Mink, and these are more of the sparkly type formula of the iPods, not this, the other formula that she has in the metallics seems more of like a flat metallic, if you will know, like little glitter specks. And then also there is the shade, oh gosh, Smudge, and it's just one of the dark browns, which I actually have a feeling, if it's not this shade exactly, it's one very similar that she actually has just released in this particular shade, because she just released an all matte one, which I am tempted to pick up because, spoiler alert, this matte formula is really nice. Her eyeshadow formula is a cream to powder formula, so all of the iPods are a cream to powder formula designed to have like no fallout and like a velvety finish, and that's kind of how I would describe them as well. They're also designed to be really easy to use, so again, no matter your skill type, you should be able to very fuss-free and easily use them. And again, I also agree with that. I actually really like the formula of these, and would love to see her keep releasing more so that there's like a little trio, or even if she released them all as singles so that I could just like pick and choose. And she definitely needs to bring out these two again, because these are awesome shades. So I'm just going to quickly prime my lids. I'm just going to use the NARS Smudge Proof Eye Primer quickly. I actually really like to use these as one and dones, or I'll put these on the lids and then just lightly kind of use the dark brown in the outer corner. And I have used these a lot of times, especially like just for work and stuff, and they're so pretty. I really like them. Now again, I can't speak to the more straight flat metallic formula, but these kind of like shifty ones are truly. So I'm gonna actually start with a Shodo 00 Refa brush, and I think I'll go into Mink today because Mink, spoiler alert, it's my favorite one. And I just like to press and tap this on the lid. This one does, I find, have just a really teensy amount of like glitter speck fallout, but not a huge amount, just a little bit. See how pretty that is as a one and done? Oh, it honestly, I really like these as a one and done. They wear really well, they do not crease, and again, definitely a formula that, like, look how quick and easy that was. Truly, you can be any like experience level with makeup and put these on super easily. You also could just put this on with your finger, honestly, and just tap it out. You really don't even need a brush. Did I say these don't crease? Because yeah, these don't crease, they wear all day. Absolutely. Ugh. I really like this formula. It reminds me of kind of like the Clé de Peau formula, actually. If you've ever tried the Clé de Peau quad formula, that's what this reminds me of. It's really a luxurious, high-end, velvety, like, or a little bit like as well the YSL quad formula. Like the YSL and the Clé de Peau almost had a baby, if you will. What I'm going to do is take the Smudge Brown, and I'm going to take a Shodo 03 brush, and I'm just going to use this to deepen the outer corner slightly. And I might even run it through the crease. We'll see where it takes me. So I just like to tap where I want this, and it's such a soft, easily blendable formula, but you will just be mindful, it does probably have a little bit more pigment than what you're anticipating if you're using like a shade this deep. So start small and build. But look how, oh, so lovely and soft and easy to use. This is why I want the matte trio, and I probably will pick it up at some point because the mattes, oh, it's really nice. I really actually, I think I'm saying this too much, but I really like this little iPod formula from her. I wish this trio was permanent. She definitely needs to make it permanent for sure. Oh, that is nice. I really like that. What do you guys think? Just taking a little pencil brush from my Kiko and Danessa, and I'll just smudge a little bit of that under here. I do have one of her eyeliners as well. This is just the black one, and it's actually quite a nice black eyeliner. Now it's a pencil eyeliner, so it's not a gel one, but I don't find that this impacts my sensitive eyes at all. I can wear it all day and it does not give me that like cloudy feeling or sting my eyes or anything. And it doesn't budge, so it doesn't like transfer to the lower waterline or anything. Like where you apply it is like exactly where it stays. And this is also a nice, I'm not going to do it now just because I don't feel like it, but you can also like smudge this along the lash line really easily, and it's just like nice and emollient. You can like really smudge it up, but it also will like not move around. So also a really good one if you wanted to do like a wing with, you could like sharpen it up and do like a smudgy wing, because it's like once it sets, it sets. For mascara, I'm actually going to take my Lisa Eldridge mascara. I have had the Westman Atelier mascara, and I don't know, I got it in a pack with the holiday collection like this year, so I don't know if the mascara was off, so I'd be interested to see if you guys have tried her mascara before, because I personally found her mascara to be really, really flaky. Like in terms of application, I would get flakes on my face, and then within like 5 minutes or not even of wearing it, I would get flakes of mascara all over my face. And then I even used it on my mum, like on my members video, and even in that video, like just flakes on the face. So I really didn't like the mascara from Gucci Westman, but I don't know if it's because maybe mine was just too old or something. So if you have tried the mascara, let me know, because I really don't want to pick it up again from my experience with the one that I had. So I'm just going to apply some of my Lisa one. So eyes are all finished. I think they look really beautiful. Honestly, again, I actually really think the Westman Atelier eyeshadow formula and her eyeliner formula really worth a look in if it's something that you're intrigued by or interested in trying. I think they're really lovely. All right, let's move on to the bronzer. So this is the Butter Powder Bronzer. There's 3 shades. Mine's the lightest shade. Again, that beautiful, luxurious packaging that she has. And this is, oh, this formula is like chef's kiss, truly chef's kiss. So this is just my Sonia G TF1 bronzer brush. This formula is, again, like most of Westman Atelier's makeup, like fuss-free, beginner-friendly. Kind of one of those bronzers that like you're gonna have to really try hard to like mess it up. It is smoothing and blurring on the skin. It is just so natural and long wearing. It also has ingredients in it to absorb, I don't know why that's sounding weird to me, but absorb excess oil in the skin as well. So if you are oily skin, it's gonna like really help with that. But again, even if you have dry skin or normal skin, truly it's not going to be drying on the skin. It's really not. It is absolutely beautiful on the skin. And for me, it's a really nice undertone. Now that's going to very much depend on you and your skin type and your skin color. For me, it's like a really nice undertone, and I don't know, I just love how blurring and smoothing and just fuss free it is. It's really similar to the Lancome Tint Idol bronzer that I'm constantly raving about. It definitely has that like buttery velvet suede type feeling between it. Like it feels like such a luxury powder. So if you know that you like the Lancome Tint Idol bronzer or the YSL All Hours bronzer or the REM bronzer, you will absolutely love this formula. This formula is just the height of luxury to me, truly. The formula itself is absolutely incredible. Let's talk about highlighters. So there are 3 types of highlighters in Westman Atelier's brand. I have 2 of them. This one is the original, the Lit Stick. I have the petite size in Nectar. I've had Lit before as well, and I never used to like this product. It was too sticky and greasy for me, but I've really, I don't know, my preference and my skin type has changed, and now I really like it. So this one is Nectar, and this is a like translucent gel type product. Kind of think almost like Vaseline, honestly, is kind of what it feels like. If you have the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate duo and that highlighter, it's honestly so similar to that one, maybe slightly, ever so slightly more sticky, if you will. And this one is basically designed to give you that really dewy, glassy skin finish, and it is designed to be put on the high points of the face, versus the liquid super tinted loaded highlighter, I think it's called. This one is like a lightweight sheer complexion enhancer that you can use in a multitude of ways. So you can use this as a liquid highlighter on the high points of your face like the lipstick, but you can also use this as a primer. If you want like that extra glow and hydration, you can mix it in with your foundation. I've seen people even use this as a color corrector under their eyes. Like this has a host of different ways that you can use this product and that they advertise, whereas this one they even have like a frequently asked questions section at the bottom of like their product page on their website for this, and it says like what's the difference between all your highlighters, and she says this one can be used in like a whole host of different ways, whereas the lipstick and also the compact tinted super loaded highlighters, they're designed to very much be highlighters in terms of the high point of the face. And then with the super tinted loaded compact highlighters, as I mentioned, like my mum really loves those. She likes to use them on her eyes, her lips, everywhere. For me, that product is too concentrated and like too dense and sticky. It's actually too much for me. It lifts my product when I use it, and I think my skin might just be too oily for it, but my mum loves it, and I know so many of you love it. Like I'm very much in the minority of not loving those, so I get that. It's just not my kind of a product. But again, she talks about how that's like designed to be used on the high points of your face with like a high color payoff. So I have the shade Peau Je Reve in the Liquid Super Highlighter as well. So I'm actually going to use Peau Je Reve on this side and the lipstick on this side so you can see the difference. I like to just apply a little bit on the back of my hand and pick it up with my sponge for the drops. And I love this. I also really want to get Peau de Peche of these. It's been on my list for a while. I think this is one of the nicest highlighters I've ever tried. It's so natural. Look how just it molds straight into the skin, doesn't lift the product underneath, and I've powdered already, and it looks like I'm just lit from within. Now if you want like an ultra blurring highlight, it's probably not going to be for you, but for me this is like I wear this so often just on the everyday to just have that kind of real soft natural highlight type look. I absolutely love it, and it wears so well, and it's like set down, like it doesn't feel sticky on the skin or anything like that. I really love this product a lot, so much that I absolutely want another shade. This is my top 3 liquid highlighter in my collection, like phenomenal. And it looks really small, and because this is quite expensive, I think it's about 100 Australian dollars, but you do get 30 ml of product, so it's like a foundation size. I mean, that's still expensive, but you do get 30 ml of product. And then for the lipstick, I just take it directly, this is a clean side of the sponge, on the sponge again, and just lightly tap where I want it. And you'll see this one is a lot more glassy, like you can see the difference. See how this is like a subtle glow from within, and that's like a glassy extra dew, if you will, type glow. And I will say this one still feels slightly sticky, but is pretty set down, whereas this one is completely set down and melted into the skin. So personally, out of the two of them, I like this one the most. This is a holy grail for me. Like if I use this up or I lost it, I wouldn't personally be running out to repurchase it. I only even got this because it came in a set in last year's holiday collections. Whereas if I lost this right now, I'd instantly run out and repurchase this. I need to have this in my collection. But I do know some people much prefer the lipstick. They really like that glassy skin finish. And I do know like some people, like Kate the Great, for example, here on YouTube, really likes the lipstick as an all over primer before foundation. But for me, that is just too dewy and hydrating on the skin. It's too much. Now for one of Westman Atelier's, like, I would say most popular products, her Baby Cheeks blushes. So I have two. I have one in a petite and one in the big size. I have Petal, which I think is one of her most popular, and also Mimi, which I think is also another one of her most popular. But Mimi you can only get on the Westman Atelier website. It's like exclusive to the site, and these are amazing. These are really, really, really amazing cream blushes. They are pretty much the same formula as the contour stick. So if you like that formula, you like these. Again, beginner friendly. It says on the website it's designed to go under or over powder, which is, I like to put my cream blush over powder. It's like a buildable vivid color payoff. It's also multi-purpose. They design it to be used on the cheeks and on the lips. It's got hydrating skincare ingredients in here, but it's more of like a soft matte finish of a blush. I absolutely love these. Again, if you're also someone that's a little bit intimidated by cream blush, I think that this is a really easy formula for you to use. So I'm just going to take a BK 106 and I'm going to take Mimi. Mimi is my favorite, and because I've already powdered, I like to just draw it on the back of my hand first and then pick it up with the brush. If I hadn't powdered, you could kind of dab it on and tap it out, but I always just recommend applying it on the back of your hand first and then picking it up with either a sponge or the brush. It's up to you though, but I mean, you know, that's just what I find best. But Mimi is such a perfect, like, everyday kind of nude blush color, and or like neutrally blush color, and I just love it. And I think you can just even see from the application, like, a little goes a really long way. See how smoothing and like blurring even the blush is? It's flawless, absolutely flawless. I absolutely want to collect all of the shades. You know I do. I'm absolutely ridiculous, and now I want them all because they are flawless. She did release in one of her holiday sets last year a powder blush in Petal, and I never picked this set up because it was like, I don't know, I just didn't pick that set up, but that's it. It was like limited edition, you can't get it anymore, and she hasn't released anymore. So I'm really hoping that next year she comes out with a range of powder blushes in this butter bronzer type formula, because I think they will be chef's kiss as well. But for right now, it's just the Baby Cheek sticks. And again, like that super luxe, like magnetic packaging, she's just, I just love the whole aesthetic of the brand, and it's not sticky, it's like set down on the cheeks completely. The last product we have to talk about is her lipsticks, and her lipsticks are, again, a run don't walk product. I have been talking and ranting and raving about these. I have 4 shades, which you guys will see the swatches of. I absolutely love them. I would love every shade, but the rest of the shades that she's got, I just kind of wouldn't really wear them a whole lot, so I'm like waiting for her to expand to the shade range of them. They are, like, I love them just as much, if not maybe more, than my Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I know, that's a massive, massive call. Pique is my ultimate favorite. It's like a perfect everyday nude for me, but I've used this so much on my channel that we'll use a different shade today. But just so you know, Pique is my favorite shade, and if you're looking for that everyday kind of brownie color, that's the one that you want to get, depending on, like, if you're my skin tone, I guess. These are a hydrating, like, matte formula. They're called like a lip suede, and a suede is exactly how I kind of describe them. They're very like lightweight and airy feeling, like, on the lips, but they really are very hydrating. I can wear this all day without feeling like I need to put a lip gloss or a lip balm on my lips by the end of the day. Like, they really do keep my lips hydrated all day, and they don't give me like that uber butthole lip or anything like that. So that's why I absolutely love this formula, and they're super long wearing as well. Now, she doesn't have lip liners yet. I know it was like sneak peeked, I think, in like one of her, like, she was doing a runway makeup look or something, or like doing makeup for a runway show, and there was sneak peek of her lip liners, so I'm also hoping they're coming out very, very soon. So stay tuned, but for now, I'm just going to take Foxy Brown from Charlotte Tilbury. To be fair, these lipsticks don't feather at all, at least not on me. So you don't really need a lip liner with them, but because I'm using such a dark shade, I like to use a lip liner. Plus I have lip liners, so I may as well. But if you didn't want to use a lip liner, I don't personally find you need to with this formula. So I'm going to take Rue, which is like a nice deep chocolatey brown. Fun fact, this is also my mum's favorite lipstick. She absolutely loves, especially Rue is her favorite shade. And I think you can tell, like, she advertises one swipe color payoff. They are one swipe color payoff. They are so pigmented. It is perfection. It is perfection. I am telling you, these are a run, don't walk product. They are so good. Like, they look almost like a satin. They feel like a satin, but they wear like a matte. Phenomenal. And this packaging, I know some people don't love it, like a lot of people don't like this packaging. I personally love the packaging. I love the magnetic lid. I love that it's like a smaller version of the like blushes and everything. I love everything about them. I think the aesthetic is exceptional. So that is all of the products that I own from Westman Atelier. Let's zoom out and I will give you my final thoughts on the brand. All right, my friends, this is the finished Westman Atelier full face look. What do you think? I really love how this turned out, actually. I think this looks absolutely lovely. All right, here's my thoughts on the brand overall. I think if you are someone that is a very fuss-free makeup wearer, especially a no makeup wearer or just a very natural makeup wearer, you will love this. But to be fair, even if you're someone like me that is not as much a natural makeup wearer, I love this brand. I think there is, just like every brand, there's products that I'm like, I can leave them. And then there's products where I'm like, run, don't walk. And that's pretty typical with most brands, right? The thing that I love the most, aside from certain products and the quality of the products, is the aesthetic and the packaging of this brand, which to some people does not matter at all, but to me it does, okay? It just adds to the experience of it for me. And I love her packaging and the luxuriousness it brings and the aesthetic it brings me a lot of joy. And then with the products, they're just made so intentionally and just so luxuriously that even the ones that don't work for me, I can still appreciate the energy and effort that have gone into them and the reasons why people would appreciate them, because they are such a high quality product. For me, her foundations, like the skin tint and the stick, they're probably the products that I'm like, you know, you can leave them. They're nice. I could see, again, like that dry normal skin really, really loving them. The mascara, the one that I tried at least, was definitely like the worst product I've ever tried from her. But again, I don't know if it's just the one that I got. The powders for my under eyes, love. But in terms of all over my face, again, for my combination skin, I could leave. But there are a lot of products from this brand that for me personally are like run, don't walks. And you guys, if you've been around my channel for a very long time, I don't say that about a lot of products. I say it about specific products. And for me, there's specific products in Westman's line that are run, don't walks. The liquid highlighter, the Biscuit contour, the lipsticks, the cream blushes, and the powder bronzer. They are absolutely run, don't walks for me. I will repurchase them instantly if for some reason they go missing in my collection. If she brings out more shades of those lipsticks that entice me and are ones that I will wear, I'll pick up every shade. I want to collect all the blush shades. I'm ridiculous, I'm aware, but I absolutely love them. The concealer, did I say the concealer? The concealer is an absolute run, don't walk. It is my favorite concealer now. I truly, hand on heart, mean that. I love these eye pods. The only reason why I'm not saying like run, don't walk for these, if you can get this stack, I'd say run, don't walk, but that's only because this stack is the only like color story I love the most. But the matte stack, I would say run, don't walk, it's like, if you love that like suede cream to powder type luxury formula, it's really nice. I just love the brand. I really do. I love the brand. I think it's phenomenal and I can't wait to see what she brings out next. I really can't. I'm excited. I think it goes without saying, but like, just in case, this isn't sponsored. They have no idea who I am. I freaking wish. If Westman Atelier would love to sponsor me or give me PR, you will find me on the floor. Just like if Lisa Aldridge ever wanted to do that for me, you will find me on the floor like dying, because that would be a dream. So I purchased every single one of these products with my own money. It's not sponsored. She doesn't know who I am. Probably could care less. But yeah, this is how I feel about the brand. It's really become one of my top favorite favorite brands. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you like the brand? Are there certain products in the brand that are your holy grail? Do you not like the brand? Let me know. Let me know down below what you guys think. You know, I love chatting to you. If you made it this far, you know you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. And an extra special shout out to my Lily absolute legends and all my members here on my channel. Thank you. I appreciate you more than you know. And I hope you have the most amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.